Hello and welcome to the Insev podcast, episode 7, The Force Awakens.
Hello there.
We are General Kenobi. We're joined today by the head of Body and Aero, Harrison Kurtika.
Hey.
Harrison Michael Kurtika. The
Close
former
enough.
head, Craig Nolan.
Hey guys.
And myself, of course, the head of Chassis, the best team. That's us, me, Kieran Duguid. And the head of the team as well. Martin Rees is joining us for this podcast.
The live studio audience goes wild.
Yeah.
Martin, how are you?
I'm good.
I've heard that you listened to half of the first podcast. What did you think of it? You had to click off immediately?
Not immediately.
Excellent.
I lasted.
That's hope.
I fast forwarded it to see if there was actually anything better.
Wow.
Oh.
That's a solid 2 out of 10, I think.
Oh, dear.
But that's still better than... We had Josh in this podcast. He hadn't listened to any of it, and I think has still not listened to any of it. We're going to start off, as per usual, with some team news. Martin, tell us about the team news. I want to hear all about Scottish Power. I want to hear about Motivity. I want to hear about electronics things, because we've never had an electronics person on here, and we have no idea what's happening.
Okay.
Tell
So we are going to be hopefully getting a custom motor built by a company called Motivity. It is.
How confirmed is that, though?
They are completely on board with it
Yeah?
for free, which is good. The guy,
Snap.
the guy, the CEO, is really nice. He's just sort of almost wants to do this as a fun project that he's interested in.
He's just like, he's just going to do it on the side, like on his weekend.
It's good
Yeah.
to know he's taking it completely seriously.
And I guess,
exactly.
like,
So,
our
yeah,
whole-
boys, don't worry.
The whole competition
Yeah,
rests on us getting this motor that works.
But to be honest, it's also like really good business for him.
Is he going to
Because-
build us a motor controller?
No,
Is the motor controller going to be built?
it is built.
Is it the same as last year?
Yes. Plus, like,
That
extra
works,
bits to
though.
make
I mean,
safer.
Was it the battery controller that didn't
It was a
work?
battery
Yeah.
controller.
What's happening with the battery controller? Is it going to work?
It will.
You said this last year. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Whoa. Shots
sorry.
fired.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
No, is it... Has it been redesigned, or is it the old design that's been modified?
No,
or
it's the one that we bought.
Right,
The
okay.
one that we bought was the one that always had the problems.
Right. Have we fixed the problems?
That's suggesting that the
Kind of.
one that we designed didn't have problems.
It had more problems, right?
It had
Got it.
It had a hardware problem
Yeah.
in that it was short circuited.
Yeah.
But that was just because
Oh.
the soldering was messed
Sure.
up.
Yeah.
I have actually since looked at it and found out there's more like design problems, which means that the stuff to measure voltage won't actually work.
Okay.
So it's not like we can just
So
fix that.
what's the plan is to use the one that we bought, which didn't work, but is going to work this time?
It kind of works.
Okay.
The only problem with it is like when it measures current, if it doesn't, we don't think it like averages the current over
Okay.
time. So if for instance, like when the
But
motor
surely that's
starts,
a good thing, because you don't
when
want...
the motor starts up,
Yeah.
you might have like a really big spike of current.
Yeah, that's what normally happens, right?
And yeah, so if
It's expected
when
behavior.
Yeah, so when it's sampling the current, if it samples on one of those spikes, and that could be like a few hundred amps,
Yep.
then it sees that and is like, oh shit, overcurrent, cut off the battery. But the battery is perfectly rated to handle like
Okay, so basically...
a small peak spike.
The way that we were driving it, where we were doing like throttle on and then throttle off
Yeah,
and then throttle on and throttle
To
off.
be honest, that pulse drive thing didn't help.
Every time we throttled on, it was like, snap, that's
Yeah,
a lot
exactly.
of current. And just
So
So-
we could do it, but we could fix it by just sort of slowly ramping up.
what you're telling me is faster is better.
Not necessarily faster is better, but more steady. is
More
better.
throttle is more fun.
That's right, yeah.
Yes. You
More
got that,
speed.
Harrison.
Gotta go fast. Sonic, take it to heart.
Sonic. Yeah,
It's all about the acceleration.
love it. Okay, so what's the chat with Scottish Power?
So we got an email from the head of the Triple E department,
Yeah.
and basically Scottish Power, or well, Iberdrola, who
Yes,
owns Scottish Power,
yeah. The Spanish
to-
Spanish Power.
Spanish
Hola.
Power, yeah. They want to sponsor a student Formula E team at
Yes.
Strathclyde.
But there
Which doesn't
isn't
really
even
exist.
there's not even a student Formula E competition.
No.
Let alone like
Yeah,
at
so
Strathclyde.
Yeah.
But USEF fits
It fits it better.
best.
Yeah.
Compared to
Yeah.
USM, But USM want to do electric in the future, possibly even next year.
Do
But
they
that's irrelevant because they're not that currently.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But hopefully, they will want to sponsor
Both.
both. Ideally, both.
Sweet, cool. That's enough electronics news. Like, we don't need to know any more about electronics.
Yeah, we start with electronics.
I know, what is this? Normally we start with Body and Aero, the most
insane.
important sub-team.
I thought this was the Body and Arrow podcast.
So, yeah, Body and Aero team news. It is welcome week?
Work consolidation week.
Consolidation week, yeah.
Or refreshers, as they're now calling it.
Oh, I hate that.
No, no.
I'll
So,
take a refresher.
In consolidation week last year, we had like most of the plug made by that point. Harrison, how's that coming along?
Basically, one word. Techies. That's
You've been feeding us this line for weeks and
Right,
weeks, Harrison. You've been like,
I'm trying.
Yeah. The technicians are gonna do it. They're gonna do it. Josh had doubts. I've had doubts. Martin's got his doubts. Probably. Who knows what Martin thinks?
I mean,
really.
the point was this week we would get things started with Drew, and that hasn't happened because of
Delete the whole email.
multitasking from Chassis.
Right. Nothing's happened in Body and Aero this
Look,
week.
this is actually important.
Moving on to Chassis.
Oh my god.
Chassis have been literally during the podcast have been emailing some boyo about what, like.
You know, Chassis actually got important jobs. You know, it's actually worth.
Chassis
his time.
actually done something this
Sorry,
week.
I don't have time to dedicate to this crappy podcast, guys. There's more important stuff.
Our
to be
only
doing.
listener is in the podcast right now.
I just delete the. Did you get it back?
No.
No. All right, I'm gonna write an email. I'm looking at the. Currently looking. Yeah, this is Chassis news now. We're taking over.
Chassis team news. Body and Aero's done.
Well, now that I've wiped that whole email, you might have noticed I've been pretty quiet, but probably not because nobody really cares. But
Don't
I've been writing an email to this guy from Kenya. Kenya are the people that we're getting the extrusion bars from.
Not Kenya. Clear difference.
Yes. This
Kenya-
guy is not Kenyan.
Can
This
you
guy is,
tell me
this
more?
guy's Kenyan. Not to be confused with the Grand Canyon here in America.
Kenya with a K.
But these guys have a Kenya.
Not
Yes.
to be confused with Canon, the camera
Canon,
company.
that's true. Can you not? If I could please speak, thank you. This extrusion bar is the 30 by 30 extrusion that we're using, but
Sexy.
okay.
Can you tell me more?
I'm getting to it. Well, it's the joints and stuff. They're going to be slightly different from the ones we got the test piece from. Because it gives it a larger surface area. But there's also like the little extrusion nuts that slide down the bar.
Yeah, the
they're
T-nuts.
different. Yeah, they're just called extrusion nuts. But
Xander called
we
them
want-
T-nuts.
yeah. Well, Xander's not here, is he? Get him on the podcast, and
We will.
then we'll
we
fight.
will. We'll get him on the podcast.
True.
Blame
But,
Chassis.
of course. Laugh it up, guys. But yeah, the extrusion nuts are like slightly different, so we just want to make sure that we're getting the right ones. Because obviously we're making a custom bar being the roll bar, so it's going to be quite fancy. We need to make sure that the joints and the connections are going to be strong enough. So
And
we
what's
need to do that
the
by
name
sending
of
important emails.
what's the name of the boy you're emailing right now?
Connor?
Big Connor is been emailing at like 5 to 5
Yeah, man. What
on a
what
Friday evening. Like what a boy!
Yeah.
Like
Connor, if you're listening.
yeah,
I
Connor.
appreciate it, man.
Big shout outs to
Big
Connor
shout out,
from Kenya.
From,
Isn't Kenya from a German company?
It's a German company, yeah.
So it's
Make-
5 to 6.
Oh shit!
It's 5 to 6 in Germany.
What a pro! No, the Germans have a good work ethic.
Yeah, definitely for
Yeah.
sure.
I should get back to this email though because
Fine,
I don't want.
jeez.
I mean, Connor's probably got a family, you know. Stop this email.
He's got
I better
a
read this
wife,
quick.
a wife and 2 kids to get
Yeah,
home to. Jeez, and he's just waiting for your email
He's waiting for the podcast.
that you're crudely typing on your thumbs. Can you
no,
link,
he's sitting at home. He's like.
can you link the podcast?
He's
on
just
the,
saying
on the
it-
end of the email.
Yeah.
Listen, just check out our podcast.
Check out the podcast.
Suddenly, like, slip that in at the end. Like, P.S. Follow us on SoundCloud. Here's
Yeah,
our podcast.
Like, stay up to date with everything that's happening in USEF.
Don't listen to episode 7 because you get an unwanted shout out.
And don't listen to episode 2 either.
Connor from the Grand Canyon, we appreciate
It's
it.
rubbish.
What?
Or is it episode 3?
Episode 3.
Episode 3 is rubbish. Don't listen to that one. So yeah, moving on from chassis and team
Yeah, there's
news
no
in
more other
general.
news.
I would like to ask a question about our friends Strathloop. How are they getting on?
That's a good question.
So
How about you ask them?
So yeah.
Well, they've got their final technical
Submission thing.
submission.
I'm
thing.
fine.
Phase 3 submission.
Yeah.
And so if
That's
I remember
due
right,
in tonight.
if I remember
at midnight.
rightly, for this they have to be able to show that they can afford all of it,
Yes.
and it's like £50,000.
Yes.
Did they get it?
No.
Do you know that?
Yeah,
Short
absolutely
answer.
zero at the
Short,
moment.
short
Well,
answer. No, they have
Well,
zero.
That's
we
quite far
know
off.
this because we too have been given 0 from the uni.
Oh wow, nice.
Well,
good.
not quite.
How have you
No,
ordered
we've got-
stuff?
Yeah, effectively. I mean, that number,
You're gonna
that
beat-
big 3, is like, what? Less than 5% of the big 5,000.
Yeah,
Oh right.
it is a
Yeah.
nowhere near 50k, even if they
But
did have the
like
thing.
I think they are kind of getting to the point where they see that what they originally wanted to do is not feasible, so they're toning it down a bit.
Yeah, it all just sounds a bit. I mean, I know very little about this, but like it just sounds a bit ridiculous. Like, I don't understand why there's even a competition where multiple unis are spending 50 grand on making
Something that might not ever come to fruition.
like vacuum tubes with trains inside.
They're making the pod in the vacuum tube. So, like, that's what old Muskrat provides. But I think they do have a good idea, but it's kind of like on Christmas Day when you're eating dinner, your eyes are a bit big, and you're like, ooh, that's a very nice bit of mashed potato and some turkey. And you put
Mashed potato. Wait.
and you put
You're
Like
having
a
mashed
mashed
potato
potato.
on Christmas.
yeah, of course.
No.
What?
What?
Roast potatoes?
You can have both.
No.
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 That's too much.
I'm going to talk up to American things because we have
Yeah,
Thanksgiving too.
on Thanksgiving
Pumpkin
dinner
pie
when
as well.
No,
I
on
have the
Christmas.
turkey.
Okay.
But my point being is that you're like, oof, I'll just pile all this food on my plate, and then you eat like a couple bites, you're like, you know what, I'm already full, but this plate's gotta be eaten. And you keep fighting it, and you keep going, and you get to the point where you're like, nah, can't do it. That's kind of what I think Strathloop's at the point. They're like, they saw all these cool technologies, like, oh yeah, this would be sick, let's do it. And then they realized, we don't have the money for this. So their eyes are a little bit too
But
big.
are they still eating?
No, they're not. 'cause
No,
they don't have
they're-
money.
They've stopped eating.
I-
Sorry, I'm really struggling
No,
with this
I
analogy.
think they're eating even faster now.
They're eating faster.
Up until
Tonight.
midnight.
They're
and
going to
then
be
they're
eating
gonna
really
start
fast.
fasting.
And then- I don't know, I'm lost. Anyway, that was good. Thanks for that update, guys.
Oh, also,
Kieran,
Cultural enrichment over there.
Kieran, please help.
speaking of
See, I really hold the.
You hold the
together.
podcast. You're the mushy glue that holds this podcast
He's
together.
the mashed potatoes.
The mashed potato.
I'm the chassis of this podcast.
You're on the chassis of this podcast. Without you, this whole thing just descends
body
into chaos.
collapses.
Ah!
Speaking of applications that have slightly more chance of success, we are going to
Phase 3. No, phase 2
phase 2
When did you find out?
results get announced on the 15th.
of January.
Yes, it's
So-
January.
Tune in next
Oh,
week for the bad news.
Tune in next week to find out if we're having to go to France or if we still get to go to London.
Can we clickbait it? It's like results in
get-
for phase 2 next week. Find out now.
Yeah. Oh man. Wow. That is exciting actually.
Yeah, it is.
Phase 2. I saw the video. It
Did
was.
you like it?
I mean, it was better than anything we've
It was
produced
different to what we did
previously.
last year,
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
we looked at actually what other teams do, and they did other teams do sort of a slightly worse version of what we've done.
Wow. There you go. Martin is very, very pleased with the video. I liked I liked it when you had the people standing next to the car in the workshop chatting. That
Yeah,
looked really
that
good.
was nice.
I didn't like what you said though.
I agreed. I had one take, and I was like, I really didn't like that. Can I go again? And they're like, it's fine.
No, it wasn't. It
Don't
wasn't
worry about
how
it.
you said it, Harrison. It was more the fact that was it Cameron that said that last year our design was like primitive. I was like, oh, that hurts. That
Shot
hit
from
me.
the gut.
That hit me in the feels. That
Remember
did.
I guess we needed to show how good this year's design is. But
Yeah, fine, whatever. So it's been 2 weeks since our last podcast. In those 2 weeks, Hugmanay celebrations have happened.
Nice.
Now, you went to
I
Edinburgh.
did go to Edinburgh. It was quite pleasant actually. There were
Did-
no
yeah,
fences.
No
ran
fences.
into,
Oh, what
fought.
is this?
Yeah, I know. Someone ended up with a box in their head. They drew a smiley face on it so they could kind of blend in.
Nice.
They were happy.
No, not very much. It's been quite nice. Quite chilled. Went home like after that. Oh, you know, trains don't run on the first. I didn't
really?
know this.
Do you know what else doesn't run over the Christmas periods? Emergency locksmiths.
Oh, that's annoying.
Which window did you break? The kitchen or living room?
So on Boxing Day, me and Claire went to a family friend's for Boxing Day. Got back to the flat at maybe like 11:30 in the evening. I found out that I had locked the keys. We have two doors. We have like the first door is like one that you lock, and then the second door you close behind you, and it's just got like a big latch that locks behind you. I left the keys in the first door, and then closed the latch behind me, and locked the keys in between the doors. And yeah, there was no emergency locksmiths on Boxing Day. So we phoned an agency that were apparently 24-hour emergency locksmiths, and they were like, oh yeah, it'll be like £150 call out, £200 if we have to break down the door. And I'm like, I'm not paying you £200 to break down my door. I will break it down myself. But we were like, right, fine, send someone please. They then phoned up half an hour later and were like, oh yeah, nah, sorry, we couldn't get anyone. We were like, great. So we slept in my friend's flat in his spare room. And then the next morning I had to take the letterbox off, and I got his coat hanger and cut it up and like stretched out into a straight line and like put it through the letterbox and like hooked the keys on the coat hanger and like slowly threaded it back out through the letterbox. It was a mission.
This is
Mission
what 5
impossible,
years
Jesus.
of mechanical engineering is
5 years of mechanical engineering.
all to this.
Taught me how to unscrew a bolt that held the letterbox into the door.
A single bolt.
But yeah, that was a disaster.
Looks like
but
you
yeah,
had a screw loose.
but yeah, that was my Boxing Day.
Let the record show that Harrison dabbed. Martin, could you please unlock your phone again?
It's not the first time.
That won't be the last.
But yeah, Harrison, did you have any escapades?
Not really. I went over to his friend's house. We played categories.
Mm.
I came third, which was.
Did you get any double letters?
Out of four?
So I had a really, really good double letter,
Yeah, it's the classic.
but it possibly got me thrown out. It was let's say edgy.
It's fine. This is an over 18s podcast. You can say it.
So it was the letter was H, and for some reason the topic was things you would shout. And being the good little
For
runner I am,
It's interesting to note that if you can find something that has a double letter,
you get
you
2 points.
get 2
Yeah,
points
yeah.
for it.
Oh my god, I've got it. Hip hip hooray. That's a
That's
triple
3.
letter.
So
That's much better.
That's so much better.
and it's safe for work.
And it's safe for work.
This next point isn't.
I thought it'd be great to use the salute the Nazis used.
Oh, jeez. Okay, I've got it. Wow. Yeah, that might not have gone down quite so well.
So when it got to me to say what my word was, I was just like, nothing. Just ignore it.
Just rub it out.
And so I was beat by my mom by 1 point.
Sorry, who?
My mom.
Sorry, who?
My mother.
Okay, cool.
Mummy.
And
She have.
Oh,
she
yeah.
had
I'm
the,
sure she would have loved some.
Oh, she was 1 point, but you would have got 2 points for
Exactly. And that's
Yeah.
what I was
that.
like.
But can you imagine if you
Right.
thought hip hip hooray?
That would have been the
Hip,
final
hip, hooray
solution
would've
to your problem, but unfortunately.
I came up with some like other spicy ones, but that was the worst. And that was one that really got me. I was like, I can't say this. I can't.
I just said it.
The thing is,
Yeah, I know,
if it was my
it's so
family,
funny when he said
if it was
this,
my family, I would have said it. And so after the fact, I was like, hey
It was a
guys,
Christian group.
I would have beat. Yeah, it was my parents and like people we know from our church and stuff. And I was like,
Oh, right, okay. I
I
didn't realize
can't-
there was something in your church there.
I can't say that.
Fair.
So like, my family is less conservative than them, and so if I said that, that would have been like,
Would have ruined the game.
yeah. My dad thought it was something completely different, and it was like, it wasn't that bad. And I was just like, yeah, it was this. He's just like, yeah, good thing you didn't say that.
That's amazing.
But it was good fun.
Yeah.
Played Scragger.
So in other news, the USEV, the team, are currently being sued by
Arnold Clark.
Arnold Clark.
Oh yes, here we
We're
are.
being held to ransom by Arnold Clark. Please tell me more. What happened?
So a few months ago, November I think, were offered by the uni to go to Babcock
Yes, I remember.
to chat. So we did that, all good fun. And then the next day after that, when our good friend Cameron, just gonna say it, so he came over to our flat, and we noticed when we got into the van to take it to Arnold Clark, there was a bit of a scratch.
Do you not just
lipstick mark
get the
from a
teacup
bollard.
out? From a what?
From a
Bollard.
bollard.
What, it was red?
Yeah, it was red. It was
A red
massive
bollard?
red streak across. Well, we assume it was.
Cameron
Unless like
doesn't remember
someone on a
getting
red car reversed into it.
I've never seen a red bollard before.
I can feel like
I have a good picture in my head.
because it was Cameron and Martin were in the van the whole time, and they don't remember like hitting a car or getting hit by a car, and where the van was, they don't think it would have been backed into or like something like that because
It looked like a passing graze.
yeah.
Right. So it'd been like, I'd been turning left and just like clipped a bollard.
I'm starting
on the
to be
inside.
more and more convinced that it was actually a car. They
Yeah,
reversed into the van
Yeah.
and then just hightailed it because insurance.
Yeah, because it's Glasgow.
Yeah.
it's Glasgow.
Well, it wasn't
This
in
was
Glasgow.
Forsyth, so
Oh, right.
It was
Okay.
Forsyth.
Jesus. But yeah, so, but yeah, so you dinged up the car a bit, the van,
So
and
we
you
thought
gave that
nothing
to
of
the
it.
park. Well, I mean,
we were like, okay, yeah, we're gonna have
Yeah,
to
we
pay
saw
something.
it. Like,
But it was like
wasn't that bad.
you're
like,
like
not.
it's like it's the hair
Did you not
dryer
have just
trick.
like got a little teacup?
A little bit of body filler, whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what
Heat
we
gun, pop it out, you're good.
yeah.
Just give it a little sand.
Don't even need a heat gun.
Yeah.
Just get a boil a
Instead,
kettle
they
and get like
they
a
paid-
plunger.
Yeah, yeah,
There
exactly.
was 9.2 hours of manual labour that went into it at £28 an hour,
Woofed!
which was about what?
That's a lot
was
of
that
money.
250,
about 250.
250.
250.
Snap.
And
That's
then
a lot.
and that was just the manual labour. They spent £156 on paint. Somehow,
What?
I know, right?
Did they buy like a massive tub and they're like, oh yeah, we'll just use that?
Yeah,
for
but
the
there was
next,
also what I don't understand. There's also little parts in the like there was a bit of it was a long van. Okay, it was a
Yeah.
really big van, and the section was about a third from the back. But in the cost analysis, the cost breakdown, you can see that there's also a little bit of information that says it's like the rear tail light has been scratched, and it's like that was not us. Like there's no way. It's like what they've done is they've got this car that's had a few minor scratches, on the van even, and then they've waited until someone's done something slightly major, and then put all those costs to make it perfect again on the one person.
So
And that just so happens to be Insev.
Yeah, I mean, at least
Really?
it's not like it would have been worse if you just like hired it yourself and then had to pay like £300.
True.
Like at
Well-
least it's the uni that's going to pay for it.
well,
Of
it was
the
like
full
about
thing?
$750 there.
It was about
Cool.
$771, I think.
But that's like what the insurance will pay. We'll pay a little bit of that.
Yeah, so that was insurance, but like I saw our standard our cost in that because we have to pay the excess, and that's like the first £250. So
Yeah.
apparently we only have to cover that.
Yeah.
And then the insurance covers everything else.
However, I would dispute things like the tail light. Like that's like
Yeah.
I mean I would make this.
But the
easy.
thing is, you're still going to have to pay £250 because you're never going to get it lower than £250.
Well, I mean, we were talking about it before we found that
because
out.
the manual labour was what
$250.
£250. So like you're gonna have to pay £250 even if that's on it or not. So it doesn't really matter.
Well, it depends what the labour was for. Because if the labour was just for painting, then it doesn't take 9 hours to paint like a tiny little
Well,
scratch.
so what they probably were doing is they probably sanded most of the panel down,
Yeah.
and then they
True.
probably got premium Arnold Clark deluxe brand white paint.
Yeah, but and the cost of it is £156.
And this is
Who
how you
knows?
launder money, kids.
Well,
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what
Oh
it
my
sounds
God,
like.
Arnold Clark,
It's like
yeah.
what it sounds like is like the thing is so they would have needed to have done the repairs, right? All you're gonna have to pay is £250, whether it's £250 or whether it's £3,000. You're only gonna have to pay £250.
Yeah.
So they've just bunged on a bunch of extra
Well,
stuff,
here's-
and it's not gonna. It's only gonna cost the insurance company more. It's not gonna cost
yeah,
you.
no, here's the thing. Like, it's still £250 for us, but it's Arnold Clark that has assessed how much damage has been done and how much they think that the insurance should pay out, right?
Also-
so obviously they're going to pump that up if they can, but we don't know. We don't know if that's actually true, so we're going to have to get multiple quotes before we can see anything. Really
Also, because we are nice guys and we don't want the insurance company paying so much money, we really do want to make sure they get
Yeah.
the best deal possible.
So we want to haggle, dispute everything, be a nuisance. That's That's it.
Yeah,
Probably call it there, guys.
There was a lot of information this year.
This
this
year.
year.
Yeah, this year.
This
is
year.
the first podcast of the
Oh, I
year.
haven't
It's the
seen you
first-
since last year. It's been a whole year.
Right, it's a great time to end the podcast. Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Make sure to follow us on SoundCloud and all that rubbish. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.